What's going on, everybody? This is your host of the Rise is Cheap podcast, Jordan here, and we are back with the UFC Fight Night predictions. We are back with all the UFC fights. It's been a little long break. It sucks that we didn't have fights, but I'm glad they're starting back up. So, without further ado, here are our Rise SG Fight Night predictions for the UFC. First, we're going to go to the prelims card. So, first, we got Joshua Van up against Felipe Boons. Joshua Van has been on a 2-win streak in the UFC, and I think it's going to go to a 3. I think Josh Van is going to win this fight. It's either going to go by decision or it's going to go by a finish. It's also somebody who is making their debut against Josh Van, but I do believe and I know that Josh Van will win this fight. Next, we got for a lightweight division, we got Nicholas Mata against Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan will be making his debut with a record of 6-0. He's undefeated against Nicholas Mata. This is this guy's UFC debut, so I believe that Nicholas Mata will end up beating this guy. I think Nicholas Mata is a good fighter. I'm not sure how Tom Nolan's going to fight against this guy. Trey Ogden should have won that last fight against Mata, but he didn't. So I'm going to have to go with Nicholas Mata for this one. Next, we got Weston Wilson against Gene Silva. For this fight, I think Gene Silva is going to make a good UFC debut and is going to end up winning. Next, we got undefeated Farid Basharat versus Taylor Lapilus. I think Basharat's going to keep his undefeated streak in the UFC and will be 12-0. Next, we got one of our guys in the Rise G podcast who's been on here, Marcus the Maniac McGee, will be returning to the Octagon, who is 2-0 and looking to go 3-0 against Gaston Bolanos. I definitely believe that Marcus McGee is capable of being 3-0. With that being said, Marcus McGee will win this fight. It's either going to be by a knockout or it's going to be by split decision, and he will be 3-0 in the UFC. Next, we got Matt Semmelsberg versus Preston Parsons in a welterweight division fight. In this one, both of these guys are good fighters. I'm not sure if both of them will be in the UFC after whoever loses in this, but I believe that Matthew Semmelsberg will win this fight by a KO in the first or second round. And then the heavyweight division in the last prelim, we got Andre Arlovsky versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. So that fight, we got Cortez Acosta 10-1. He lost his last fight, but I believe that Cortez Acosta will win this fight. Most of his fights have gone by decision. This guy is crazy good. I think he has a lot of potential. Coming off a loss, I think he's hungry for this win, and I think he will beat Andre Arlovsky, a former champion as well. And going to our main card, we're going to start it off with Phil Hawes making his return to the Octagon against Bruno Ferreira. It showed in the last fight with Bruno Ferreira that he lost. He's a good fighter, but against good opponents, I'm not sure if he's good in that strength. I think that Phil Hawes is going to end up winning this fight. Phil Hawes is a good fighter. He's had really good opponents. He's lost to very good opponents. I think that he's going to end up beating Bruno Ferreira. It's either going to be by decision or I think maybe a finish. Next, we got Ricky Simon versus Mario Bautista. This is a good fight. Both of these guys are going to look to climb the ranks. With this one, I honestly think Ricky Simon's going to win this fight. I would be happy with either guy who wins this, but I believe that Ricky Simon will win this fight. He matched up good against on his last fight, Ricky Simon. I know he ended up losing. Batista ended up beating Damon Blackshear. So I think both of these guys are hungry for a win, and I believe that Ricky Simon will win this. Next, we got Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. My bad. This is going to be a good fight. Jim Miller, his last fight was a knockout, crazy knockout. I believe that Jim Miller by knockout or submission. I know there will be a finish. I think he will beat Gabriel Benitez. It will be a good fight, but I think Jim Miller is going to keep his streak high and going to keep going with it. And then we got in the co-main, we're finally here. We got Mateus Nicola versus Emmanuel Cape. Two really good fighters. Um, I know Nicola is a good fighter, but I believe that Emmanuel Cape will win this fight, and he's going to be looking for gold soon. I think that Emmanuel Cape is a good fighter. He just needs to, get other fights and keep climbing the ranks. I want to see him fight Kakara France, but he hasn't yet. So I'm hoping that happens. Hoping sometime in the future. I think after this fight, that'd be something that'll build up. And then that our last fight, which is the fight of the night, the main event, which is Mohammed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Both of them fought in, I think it was Dubai, and there was, I think it was an eye poke, and they ended up canceling the fight. And I'm glad there's this rematch. I I love both of these people. These are great fighters. Both these guys are phenomenal fighters. I think this could go either way. I mean, most people are gonna say Ankalaev versus in this win. He should have been light heavyweight champion. Let's be honest. Um, I think it's gonna go both. It could go either both ways. With my favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Johnny Walker. A lot of you guys could be surprised by that, but I believe Johnny Walker is gonna go in there. He's gonna surprise a lot of people. An eye poke didn't really help when he got eye poked last time, but Johnny Walker surprises. I know he's lost to Jamal Hill, people like that, but I think he can surprise a lot of people, and I think he'll climb the ranks. I really want to see him be champion one day as well. All right, guys. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Smash that like button. Hope you guys enjoy this video and watch when Johnny Walker wins this weekend. See you guys next time.